Good evening, guys. So, I've had so much fun logging today. My central control board, um, I've got to come up with a better name than that, just was a ton of fun today, much funner than I expected. I'm going to jump into my capture node and scroll to the bottom. So, when I start my day and start logging, I just create a node and then I always put the next node above it. And so this is what logging today looked like. You'll also see what I did today as a side effect bonus. So basically, I just logged when I got up. Why not? Get the day started, logged my weight. Not so great, but I'm kind of working on it. To say I'm working on it would be a little bit of an overstatement. Um, I want to lose weight. I'll put it that way. So then I log the weather, and here's why. So I don't know if you've ever seen the old BBC television show Jeeves and Wooster. In that, Jeeves wakes up Wooster often with some bit of information, and I like to do that for Gracie. If you haven't seen Jeeves and Wooster, uh, it's worth at least an attempt at watching it. It may not be your style. Some people don't like the British humor, but I love it. Uh, but anyway, Gracie likes she regularly asks me what the weather's going to be, so I just decided while I'm making coffee, I look up what the weather's going to be, and that's what I wake her up with. Um, I may attempt it with a British accent occasionally. Let's see, made some baked oatmeal for the morning, and then had coffee time with Gracie. Maybe I should highlight what I'm talking about. Had coffee time with Gracie, talked about a video that I watched that Frank G from New York, New York sent me. And that was just super interesting. So we had a good conversation. And I logged something she said into my inbox for further review. She suggested that I should look into Obsidian as a possible backup to WorkFlowy if the information is something that can be saved locally and then be accessible. Tried that out. Then I made my earlier video here and just posted it here for future reference. After making that video, because I love making content, I felt super jazzed. Uh, so I did a quick state change check-in. Here's why. And I logged it to right here. I logged it to my state. Get out of here. Um, I logged it to my state log. Here's why I do that in general, but here's why I especially if I'm kind of super jazzed, super energetic in a particular state, I want to know why, and I want to be able to go back through my state log over time and see what was the situation that was true that put me into high energy, high pleasantness state, so that I can learn from that and possibly create that state more often. So almost anytime I make content, I just like sharing. I like potentially helping people. I enjoy um, hearing myself talk, I guess. Then got ready to go. Then we drove. Uh, Frank posted something uh, on the Slack group that got me thinking about a potential content creation format that I kind of like. So I logged that there, and then I logged it to uh, content ideas log. So whenever I have a content idea, I often will put it in my capture log and then send it over to content ideas log. Went to church, which was fantastic. It was just a good day at church. Good to see people again. We just recently started going back after COVID-19 hit, so that was a lot of fun. Drove by to look at the job, which is on the way home, the job I'm doing right now, to see how the finish turned out. I'm going to have to do another coat because I didn't like how the finish turned out. The texture was a little weird, so I'm going to do one more coat, but I needed to know that so I could go on my way to the job and pick up some more paint. Logged that I drank some water, sent it off to my water log. Got a letter from a friend and took a picture of the letter. which is a personal letter, so I won't show it, and sent it over to my correspondence log. Tagged it with the guy who sent it. Then had this fantastic meeting. You guys who are on the Slack group had this fantastic meeting with Frank G talking about past, present, and future context creation for development. I was in the presence of a genius today, which was a ton of fun. While he and I were talking, I looked up the etymology for the word context, which is from com, which means together, and essentially texture, which is to weave or make. So to weave together is the concept of the word context, which is a very important word for me. After talking to Frank, took a nice Sunday afternoon nap on the couch. That was super fun. Ran across this video about gamification and productivity. Wasn't a super great video, but she talked about the Pomodoro as a gamification technique with visual representation, which I just wanted to kind of note that down. And then I sent that over to my contact log. So when I watch a TV show, watch YouTube, if it's something if I'm just watching something for entertainment, I don't put that in here necessarily. But I send it over. Oh, that's actually not true. Watched Merlin season 4, episode 1, where Merlin almost sacrifices himself for the people of Camelot. So that was cool. Kids had a good time. Cereal and popcorn and watch a movie night is a Sunday night tradition at the Clark house. We just eat popcorn. We make we eat some cereal. We keep it super easy and have a good time together. Finished another glass of water. Plan for tomorrow. Yeah, so while I was planning for tomorrow, which is just my Scrum update, sprint planning for the day, I had this idea of I wonder if I can create a don't break the chain mechanic somehow on this board. I don't know. But I sent it over to my inbox so I can think about that, because that would be cool if I could actually have a don't break the chain mechanic that was visible in front of me for something I really want to be working on. So finish my plan for tomorrow. And then it's 8:30. I'm going to have to change that. I'm running late and I wanted to make this video while I was thinking about it. And my wife and I are going to have a date night because that's what we do on Sunday nights. And then, okay, so what I'm showing you here above this date night line is, I'm going to scroll back to the top. This is my daily log. So this is from the board immediately to the left of my capture node, which I showed in a previous video. So in there, I have a gratitude log and grateful for my church. Really enjoyed talking to Frank G. and naps with no kids in the house. My boys were on a walk or out playing in the mud, and so the house was quiet, and naps with no actually my daughter was in the house. And I think my oldest son, but they're pretty quiet relative to my two younger boys, so that was fantastic. Oh, hey, Tacy. Hey, puppies. I should say, I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for Tacy. She was a good addition to our family. 3 new ideas. This past, present, future as a context for collecting was a brand new idea for me, or harmonized with some things I've done before. Applying that to the 12-week year cycle especially was what Frank was kind of the outtake from my conversation with Frank. And then I was thinking about how can I apply that to my construction life, looking at past, present, and future contemporaneously in order to generate more context is essentially the idea. And then here's my Readwise quotes. So I just created a little image that Readwise does for you and inserted them in here. So for your reading pleasure, here they are. Yeah. And then I did a VOD review for the day. So this is interesting. And I'm going to be logging this. Knowing I'm going to be doing a VOD review, This is the first day, so it's novel, so I don't pay too much attention to things that are interesting, when I'm just getting started because I'm interested in the novelty. So we'll see how this pans out, but I'm a little bit excited about it, to be honest. I often end the day dissatisfied because I'm always seeing, I was talking to my wife this morning. It was like I'm always seeing the future. And then when I said that, I realized, no, I'm seeing a fake future, a made up future where everything's perfect and everything's going like I want it to. And then I compare my current reality to that fantasy world, and then I'm dissatisfied. So I was thinking about that and how useless that is, to compare my life to some kind of fantastical world where whatever, I'm rich and famous, and that's not actually what I think about. Just where I can do the things that I want to do, that I'm essentially a more powerful version of myself who actually can make a plan and carry out the plan and execute it perfectly. That's never been true about me, so that's a pretty poor thing to compare myself to constantly. So I'm trying to reflect on that a little bit and think about how can I revise my perspective on life? How can I get to the end of my day and not feel like, I don't really feel like a failure. I just feel dissatisfied with myself. Not with the world. When I think about what's around me and my family and my life, that's fantastic, but just dissatisfied with myself. So the VOD review and recognizing I'm going to get to the end of my day and think about not how did I compare to the perfect version of myself, but it's a different kind of question, and I'm in process of figuring it out. But here was the question, not did I live the perfect life that I wanted to do today, but I asked myself the question, what would leave me happier with my day when I crawl into bed? That was the question. What would leave me happier at the end of the day when I crawl into bed? And cleaning the kitchen very thoroughly. So the whole family was watching television, the Merlin series. And so I cleaned it really thoroughly, knowing how happy I would be with that, but also more importantly, how happy Gracie would be with that. And I decided rather than just sit on the couch and do a kind of cursory cleaning and picking up at the end of the movie or the television show, why don't I just do a really good job with that? Is that perfect? No, I'm far from perfect, but I'll just be happy that I did it, and I'll be happy to wake up to a clean kitchen, and I'll be happy that Gracie can wake up to a clean kitchen. So that was the answer at that point. It was a good day. Church was really so good. Good family interactions for the most part. I thoroughly enjoyed logging today more than ever before on this board. And so, yeah, that was my VOD review for the day. I just kind of scanned through my capture log and just thought about what kind of day did you have, Dave? Did you do what you wanted to do? Was there something you could have done different? And I don't really think there was. So I think it was a pretty good day. Every day won't be like that. There's going to be some bad ones, but then I can figure out why that is and see if I can do things a little bit differently or make different decisions maybe. And hopefully cultivate a more pleasant perspective on myself, because I tend to be unbelievably critical of myself. So this might help. Anyway, there you go. That was all I wanted to show you guys. I'm really enjoying the board. I'm enjoying the capture, and thought I would share a little bit about what it looks like at the end of the day. And now I'm going to archive this to the date and be ready for the next day. I'll wake up in the morning with a clean slate. Hope you guys have a good night.